Hey, Brandon here. Welcome back to the 2023 NFL Draft Rookie Report. We got a great show today. I'm here with Jason DiRienzo, my co-host. He is a recent graduate of the Scouting Academy and co-founder of the Devy Watch. Jason, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Brandon. How you doing, buddy?
We're doing good, man. This is our 17th show. We're going to be talking about Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Super excited to dig into this. This is our 17th episode. Our plan is to hit all of the rookies you plan on drafting in your rookie draft. We're going to talk about today his 2022 film. I sent you some all 22 films for us to take a look at, which is always a nice thing. We're going to take a look at his expected draft capital as well as his rookie draft capital and his maybe projected dynasty value in his first few years going to the NFL. So let's get right into it, man. Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs, 5'11", 200 pounds on the season. His career statistics, he's a 3-year real junior, 368 attempts, 2,056 yards, 15 touchdowns, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. He had 102 receptions. That's his calling card. I think that's when he went from Georgia Tech to Alabama. Everyone was excited to see what he could do in the SEC catching the football. He did a damn nice job. He had over 1,000 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, averaging 11.3 yards per catch. So he was an exciting, vertical threat. We're going to get into that when we talk about his scouting report here on his 2022 film. So first of all, like we do when we start out these films, we like to kind of take a sneak peek at some PFF stats. The first stat we can take a look at here is his usage really on the field with his zone and gap usage. It looks like 63% he ran zone, 37% out of the gap. Watching his film, Jason, he did a lot of stretch plays on the outside. I thought he really did a good job. So we're going to kind of dig into that when we get into his scouting report. Yards after contact, 3.51. That was about average with all of the backs going to the draft this year in the 2023 draft class. As far as running backs are concerned, his missed tackles force was 104. That represented on his attempts, 28% of his runs, he made somebody miss in the open field. That was also about average in the draft class of running backs. And his elusive rating from PFF too is 99.1. That was actually in the back of the class. There was a lot of guys like Zach Charbonnet and Zach Evans and Devon A-Chain, who we did a show on last week. I was really surprised because I think his elusiveness and footwork is something that I think when we talk about his scouting report here, any of those stats kind of stick out, and we don't make any comments.
You just kind of named it, Brandon. Yeah, that's kind of weird to me. I think we said the same thing with Devon A-Chain. That elusive rating needs to be a lot better. Maybe it has something to do with him playing the SEC.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what the formula is, but nonetheless,
I don't know.
It's nice just to use it as a comparison to other backs in the class. So
sure.
Let's get right into the scouting report. I think that's what most people are probably pretty excited about, to hear our thoughts on what we think of Gibbs here. I mean, he's an exciting player. So we'd like to break down these scouting reports kind of in traits. And the first thing we're going to talk about is his vision and patience. I'm going to read my scouting report that's on my Devy to Dynasty dashboard. And Jason, of course, we want to hear what your thoughts are as well. So he's got excellent. I thought he had excellent vision. I thought the word I looked when I watched him play, similar to A-Chain that we talked about last week, I thought he had creative instincts, was kind of a term that I kind of went back to when I was watching his film. I think he can quickly read and react. I think he can identify holes, good cutback lanes. And when he makes, the cut, he's pretty decisive when he makes a decision. I think he processes well in tight spaces and has good spatial awareness. And I think that kind of makes up for his lack of physicality, because I think when we get later here in a couple minutes when we talk about his play strength and physicality, I think he's got play strength and physicality, but not to the extent of some of these bigger backs, right? He's 200 pounds. Right. A lot of people are like, is he really 200 pounds? Is he really 195? I mean, I guess, the combine will tell us that in a few months. But so his vision and patience, I thought I would grade him very well in that department. Do you agree, disagree?
Oh, I completely agree. Well above average. I'm going to start calling these guys space bar guys when I evaluate. I had to use the space bar a lot to really see what he was seeing, because he was so quick to just navigate, and his vision and processing is very fast to understand exactly what gap and what zone read to take. It's really impressive, and I think that is going to help him a lot as he translates to the next level.
Yeah, the next trait we talk about is footwork and lateral ability. I'm going to read here. I think he's an elusive and twitchy athlete, has excellent lateral quickness and agility, has true jump cut ability, making defenders miss. On several films, on those 3 films that I sent you, I mean, he got the ball from Bryce Young. He cut, he stopped, he jump cut, reaccelerated. I mean, I think, he oftentimes displayed multiple cuts in the same run. I think this is going to be his successful calling card outside of his pass catching, which is what everyone's excited about from a PPR standpoint in Dynasty, right? We all want our running backs to catch a lot of balls, and that's without saying. But I think, given what I've seen his film and through these traits that we're going to look at, I really feel like his footwork and lateral ability are what really puts him in the top tier of this running back class.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has alien body mechanics, just the way he's able to drop his weight, shift laterally, evade and elude, stop on a dime cut, and just instantly accelerate. I think his footwork's fantastic, and that is going to be a big portion of what NFL teams are going to love about him.
Yeah, I do too. His acceleration and long speed, I have in here, he's got excellent acceleration and burst. If he finds a crease with daylight behind defenders, he's able to create and usually comes off with an explosive play. Like his vision too, in the second level, a lot. I saw a lot of manipulating of defenders, setting up angles and stuff like that. So his acceleration is good. I don't know what his 40 time is. I don't know what to expect at the combine as far as a 40 time, but his speed isn't going to be an issue. I don't think he's a blazer by any means, but I don't think he, has got anything. But I mean, his acceleration and long speed, man, when he sees the crease, he hits it pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gear changer too. He's not a momentum builder. He just knows exactly how to tempo his speed, knows how to strategically use it. And when he needs to accelerate, he accelerates. And when he needs to hit the burners, he knows exactly when to do that. And safeties and linebackers, he's going to be the worst nightmare. Their pursuit angles don't phase him at all. And that's something I definitely love about Gibbs.
So the next trait here, the strength and contact balance, right? I think that is what the big question is I have here in my notes. He does have the functional strength. I'm sorry, he doesn't have the traditional, I think, functional strength to be a 3-down featured back, but most likely, teams don't use guys like that anyway. We're seeing the NFL really pivot from guys just getting, 20, 25 carries. There might be 5 or 6 of them, left in the NFL. So from his size, however, I think he has good play strength. I think he finishes strong for his size. He seems to have really good leg drive at the contact. And that's something I really look for in running backs is, when they, get tackled, are they really pushing as much as they can, or are they kind of folding like a lawn chair a little early? I really felt he played through good play strength through contact. He has good balance. I wouldn't say he's got great contact balance. I think he's got good balance when he's got the ball in his hands. He's pivoting around defenders and moving and that kind of thing. But as far as contact balance, I don't think he's going to shed a lot of contact. Just given his size and ability, I think he's got a strong lower half. But I think if there's one knock on him, it's probably going to be that functional play strength to, take it with, a lot of carries in games at the NFL level. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think honestly, when it comes down to it, when I was watching the film, I really liked the functional strength that he delivers for his size. He keeps his legs churning, and I like what you said. Like, he just keeps his legs driving no matter what. He's very competitive, does not want to go down on first contact. And the thing we have to remember too is you got to catch this guy in order to tackle him, and that proved to be very difficult from some of the film I was watching too. I mean, he just knew exactly what lanes to take and evade, and some of these guys are having a really difficult time with him. And even if he does get caught caught from a lower tackle, he crawls to recover. Like, he won't let his knees or elbows hit the ground. Right. He'll do whatever it takes to get back up and keep going. And I love that part of his game. So as much as the functional strength might limit him, the rest of his skill set is definitely going to help increase his value.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really of looking at his entire game. I think if he was 215, solidly 215, I think he probably, would easily be, I mean, Bijan's at the top, obviously, and Gibbs is number,
a tough one.
Yeah, it would be a tough one, but Gibbs is kind of the number 2, back in this class right now. But it's going to be interesting as we get closer. There's going to be that fatigue that sets in.
Pick your flavor type of
it is.
A&B, I think.
I would agree. Or actually B and C, I think it's going to be more pick your flavor. All right, pass catching. That's the last trait we like to talk about on these shows. I mean, I have in here, he's a versatile pass catcher. He can be used out of the backfield or deployed in multiple receiver alignments to create mismatches in the defense. I think he's the best pass catching back in the class, without a doubt. I mean, this is why he's ranked so highly, right? I mean, he's got that PPR allure to him. I mean, and Bijan too, he's got that ability to catch the ball. We've seen those sideline grabs Bijan does. So these two top guys, are just outstanding pass catchers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's an elite pass catcher, honestly. I mean, what more would I want from a guy than what I've seen from Jahmyr Gibbs this season? So he's definitely going to make his mark in PPR leagues.
Yeah, so let's say he goes to the combine, Jason, and comes in at 196. All
Don't
right.
care.
Don't care, right?
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. All right. we had that same conversation with A-Chain last week, right? You know, so I mean, these guys have very special, movement skills and footwork and lateral ability that are going to, I think, make up for that lack of size. Both of those players. All right. So, that's a scouting report. Jason and I, we watched a lot of this film over the last few weeks. Everyone kind of knows Gibbs is a solid player, so it's probably nothing that you haven't heard already or think for yourself. But nonetheless, we like to go through all these details on these shows. All right, let's get to his draft capital. Okay, this is probably chalky too for most people. I mean, he's a late day 1 pick in the NFL draft, or an early day 2. I keep seeing him getting mocked to my Eagles. I as much as I would love to have Gibbs, I did for his fantasy value, the way the Eagles rotate backs all the time. I'm not sure that's a great landing spot as much as everybody would, with Hurts taking the sideline where the goal line carries. But outside of the Eagles, I mean, do you think he gets out of day 1, or do you think people are going to fade the running backs? Because last year the running backs got faded a little bit.
Yeah, I got to think. I mean, when I watched the Jonathan Taylors, DeAndre Swifts, and everybody go in the second round, I got to think that there's a good chance Jahmyr Gibbs finds his way into that like early second type of area.
Right. Yeah. I think he's an early day 2 pick. I think defense wins championships. I think the more that we see mocks heading towards this draft, I think we're going to see wide receivers and running backs. It's just kind of a theory that I have. I think we're going to start to see them kind of because there's a good selection of them this year. It seems like there's a lot of elite running backs, but the class is kind of deep, So rookie draft selection, he's got to be a round 1. He doesn't get out of the round 1, right?
No, God, no.
No.
If he does, I'd be like, oh,
yeah,
that'd be great value.
Yeah, that's unless he gets drafted by the Colts or something like that, right? Then maybe he does. Yeah, don't talk like that. All right, fantasy value ceiling. I can see him being an RB2 coming out. All right, I don't know if he can get in. He might be able to get into the top 10. I'm looking right now on Fantasy Pros. I wanted to put this up for this show. There's a chance. I see you got RB1 here on the show sheet.
I honestly think PPR that I could see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Williams was a RB1 this year, and Miles Sanders. So I think after the top 3 or 4, I think really anyone could jump into that second half of RB1 territory. And again, hopefully we all hope and pray he gets a really good landing spot, who gets his hands on the ball a lot. All right, last part of the show we like to talk about is do a player comp. I put in Aaron Jones. I could see him kind of being used with Aaron Jones, with Dylan there as well. Like Aaron Jones is a tough physical runner, a little bit undersized, but still gets the job done. Good pass catcher. He's another back that's deployed, down the field for Aaron Rodgers. We've seen him make a lot of, plays down the field, 20, 25, 30 yards catching the football.
Yeah, I like that comp a lot. I think he plays very similar to what Aaron Jones' skill set is. And yeah, I could absolutely see him producing the same exact way too. My comp, I went with Jamal Charles, just the pass catching ability, very similar height and weight, skill sets, very similar. And when I actually went to kind of go look at some of the similar sizes and speeds, I mean, he fell in line with Reggie Bush, Christian McCaffrey, Javid Best, CJ Spiller. I mean, there were actually some pretty decent names in there. So I think RB1 is definitely a possibility for him. But Jamal Charles' role when he was with the Chiefs, I can see that particular type of upside.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are putting out the Eckler, or not the Eckler, the
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara, right.
I tried to stay away from it, but it's just so right in front of you.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit more physical than Gibbs, though. I mean, Alvin Kamara was
it's the skill set. It's what he does best.
Yeah,
that's just the way Kamara performs.
Yeah, pass catcher, slasher, just he finds a crease, he's usually gets, good chunk yardage for that. So, all right, there you guys got it, man. That is Jahmyr Gibbs, exciting prospect. Look, he's been an exciting prospect for all of us. If you play Devy C2C for the 3 years, it's great. We're finally going to get him on our Dynasty roster. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing Cedric Tillman here shortly. We have, like I said, 17 episodes of all your favorite rookies. So again, thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button. See ya.